You did the work, it got approved, and now you're waiting and sending a just following up message you've sent a dozen times before. This is episode 4 of Freelancer OS. Last time was pricing, what to actually charge. Today's what happens after. Invoicing and how to actually get paid on time instead of chasing it. The instinct is to blame the client for paying late. Sometimes that's fair, but most late payments aren't about a client being difficult. They're about friction you didn't notice you added. If invoicing happens 2 weeks after the work is approved, if the client has to find your bank details in an old email, if there's no clear deadline on the invoice, you've built a system where pay me is easy to forget, not just easy to ignore. Late payment is usually a process problem before it's a person problem. The single biggest fix: invoice immediately when work is approved, not at the end of the month, not when you remember. The moment it's approved, the longer the gap between approved and invoiced, the more the request feels disconnected from the actual work, and the easier it is for a client to deprioritize it. If you can automate this step so it's not something you have to remember, do it. This is one of the easiest wins in your entire process. A good invoice isn't just accurate. It's frictionless. That means a clear due date, not just net 30 buried in fine print, a direct way to pay, not bank details the client has to copy into their own banking app, and a total that's easy to scan, not a spreadsheet of line items they have to interpret. Every extra step between I want to pay you and I paid you is a chance for the payment to get delayed by something as small as the client being on their phone instead of a laptop. Sometimes you do everything right and the client still goes quiet. Here's what actually works. One polite, direct follow-up at the due date, not 5 days later. A specific ask, just checking this went through, not a vague nudge. If it goes past a week past due, a short professional message referencing the original scope and due date works better than an emotional one. Most late payments get resolved at this stage, not because of anger, but because you made it easy to just resolve it. This is the exact loop I built into Parlo. When a client approves the work in the portal, an invoice with a direct payment link is right there in the same place, no separate email required. Fewer steps between approved and paid. I'm not saying every freelancer needs Parlo. I'm saying whatever you use, the goal is the same. Collapse the gap between approved and paid as much as you possibly can. It's currently in free beta if you want to see how I built it. So, invoice the moment work is approved, make the invoice frictionless to act on, and follow up early and specifically if a client goes quiet. Next episode, client communication and approvals, the thing that actually ended my run as a freelancer. This one's personal. Subscribe if this helped. See you in episode 5.